So every now and then a movie comes out and it feels like everybody is unanimously loving it. And then here I come along, the bearer of bad news, the contrarian, to rain on everybody's parade. Happened last year with one battle after another. It's happening again with Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary is directed by Christopher Miller and stars Ryan Gosling. So no secret here, guys, based on that opening, I did not enjoy this movie. In fact, I found it pretty brutal in a way to watch. I found this movie to be exhausting. It was so long, I was pretty disengaged. I was really disappointed with what I felt about this. This is based on another book by Andy Weir. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he wrote The Martian, and I loved that movie. I thought it was great. And I also love the book even more. If you have not read The Martian, that is a fantastic book. It's even better than that movie. So going into this, I wouldn't say I had expectations because I'll preface, I have not read Project Hail Mary. I don't know the source material. I didn't know what this movie was about. Didn't even see a trailer. You guys know I don't watch those. But I was hoping for more of Andy Weir's style, another space book and some of his humor. And you get all of that, but this movie just felt like a dollar store version of The Martian, and I could never get over it. In fact, I would describe this entire film as The Martian meets E.T. And does it fully work? For me, no. So as for the movie, it stars Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace, the scientist who is tasked with saving the world. To keep the science simple, basically the sun is burning out, and for that reason we need to find a way to stop it or the world is going to end. So Ryan Gosling gets sent into space to find a solution. When he's in space, he encounters this creature named Rocky from another planet. They form this bond, hence this movie is kind of The Martian and E.T. It's this solo survival mission with an attachment to a creature. And all of that is fine on the surface, okay? As a movie, conceptually, it's fine. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. Kind of generic in my opinion, but I had glaring issues with this film, and I know that's a hot take. I've read the reviews. I live on the internet, so burn me at the stake. Won't be the first time, won't be the last time. These are my opinions. But what I actually enjoyed about this movie, by far, the biggest standout, Ryan Gosling. He's kind of doing his same thing he always does, being Ryan Gosling. Must be a Ryan thing in Hollywood. Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds. If your name is Ryan, you just act like yourself on camera, you get paid millions of dollars. I've always liked Ryan Gosling, though. He feels very likable, very charming as a lead. He's very competent in this movie. I think he does a great job playing this everyday man, middle school teacher gone scientist. He's saving the world. Feels very grounded, very believable, like your everyday man would feel. So I think he does a great performance here. By far the best part of this movie, and it is not even close. I also like the relationship here between him and Rocky. Again, very E.T.-like. We've seen that done before in many movies where you have two people who don't really share anything in common working together to defeat a common enemy. Kind of tempered compared to The Martian. I definitely could see families having fun with this movie, enjoying this creature dynamic. Kind of heartfelt, kind of emotional at points. Is it the best I've ever seen? No, but I will give the movie credit. I think all of that, for the most part, is fairly enjoyable, although I find it fairly generic. Lastly, I really enjoyed the visuals of this movie. I liked all of the stuff related to the camera work, capturing of space, all of the stakes, all of the scale of everything, the aesthetic of it, how it looks a little bit older. I thought that was another one of the selling points. In fact, there was one scene related to when he first spacewalks. I thought that scene captured something I have never seen visually captured when it comes to how scary space can be, the scale of it all, how massively endless it all is. I liked all of that. I thought all of that was very immersive. I liked the world, all of the visuals. And with that, you're probably asking, well, you just mentioned the acting, the visuals, the core part of the plot. How could you possibly have disliked this movie? Well, let me tell you, the main issue I have with this, it is way too long. This is a nearly 3-hour movie. I think you could easily lose an hour and it is the same movie. I'd even be lenient. I'll give you 2 hours tops. I'll give you another 15 minutes of filler time. This movie is way too long. There are other space epics out there like The Martian, Interstellar. They push the same runtime and they are significantly better than Project Hail Mary. A lot of the times when people talk about runtime, they talk about pacing and editing. There's just way too many scenes that go on for way too long. For example, you'll have scenes where he's solving an equation or doing science. Give us an example of that. Show us one test. This scene has that same scene go on for like 5 minutes straight. So there's a lot of scenes here that just linger on for way too long, almost overexpose you to the same plot points. And I'm not gonna lie, I found myself pretty bored for a lot of this movie. My mind was wandering, I was kind of drifting off. I was really struggling to lock in and focus on this movie because it felt like they would show me something and then they would just kind of keep doing it over and over again. So it felt like this movie was oddly paced bad in both directions. It's like too short and too long. Speaking of too short, I don't know what it is. It's probably a lost in translation thing coming from the book. It felt like there were large sections of this movie that were completely skimmed over. There was no real exposition of why they happened. They happened very, very quick because there's a lot of stuff you need to fit into this film, and they don't really explain how any of it happened. Like, the movie opens up, you have Ryan Gosling, he wakes up on a space station, and within like 5 minutes, he's completely aware of everything. He knows how the ship works, he knows what went on, and it just feels like there's large things again that you do not get that the book probably showed, because they needed to jump into a movie without it being 4 hours long. You also have a scene where he meets Rocky, this character, while they're bonding, and there's no questioning of anything going on. He goes up, he knocks on the glass, and he starts speaking to this alien who can just apparently understand English. They don't question any of this. You don't really understand how he can interpret Rocky. And some people might overlook it. It might not be a detail that really ruins their immersion in this, but I found that to happen a lot. So at the same time that it's paced way too long and it just feels kind of dragged out at points, it also feels like one of these movies, if you like it, you could easily get a 3.5, 4 hour cut of it, and you'd probably like it even more. The second biggest issue by far, I just did not find this movie to be funny at all. Like, I didn't laugh one time. Very juvenile sense of humor again. It is that Andy Weir book humor he did in The Martian as well. I understand it. I'll own this. Maybe it's a personal thing. Maybe I just couldn't overcome the hurdle comparisons back to back or his style of humor. I just kept thinking of The Martian and thinking this feels very derivative because it's the exact same sense of humor as that book. It's the exact same concept of that book, at least fundamentally, having a single guy go in space, survive. It's kind of been played out by now. Well, I just felt like I was watching a PG-13 watered down version of The Martian where the jokes were not landing, the humor and the language was censored, and I had a really hard time every time there would be a very serious moment and he would crack a PG-13 joke of feeling like nothing was very serious in this movie. It didn't feel like the world was ending. It just felt like kind of an oddball comedy a lot of the time. And again, I'll own it because I've said on this channel before, I have a very weird sense of humor. It's very dry. It's very self-depreciating. It's very dark. So this is not my sense of humor at all. This is, again, more juvenile humor, I'd say, more PG-13 family-friendly humor. So if that is your thing, you have a family, might work more for you. But for me, it's just not funny to me. I just didn't find a single scene in this movie to be funny. And a lot of the comedy felt almost Marvel-like, where they just inject it in the most powerful, important scenes, and it just took me out of the moments. It made nothing have emotional stake to it. It's just a very weird blender tone that it's hard to explain unless you've seen the movie and you have the thoughts I have. And the final negative I have when it comes to Project Hail Mary is actually kind of not even related to the film. Sometimes it's no deeper than the fact that art is subjective and not every medium works for everybody. Acting, directing, the aesthetic, the world building, the immersion, a lot of things are just subjective. Some things work for you, some things don't. This is one of these movies from the opening scene I was kind of at odds with mentally. I just didn't find it super interesting. I didn't really like a lot of the stuff they were doing humor-wise. The story felt kind of generic. So I never really immersed both feet in. I was just kind of always at odds with this. I was always zoning out. I just could not focus on this movie. It never won me over. And again, that's just a personal thing. Not everything connects with everybody. That's what happened to me with Project Hail Mary. I just struggled to get into this film. Overall, guys, Project Hail Mary, it's not the worst film I've ever seen, but definitely not a movie I will ever watch again. I did not really buy into this world or these characters. Felt oddly generic. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who love this film, take their families, they've read the book, and they're going to have a great time with it. For me, though, I say wait for streaming when it comes to Project Hail Mary. So what did you guys think of Project Hail Mary? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with all of the critics? It's the greatest thing ever. Or do you side with me and find this movie oddly forgettable? As always, like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, but I will see you in the next review.